500 years ago, the Spanish and many central cultures knew little about the north. For example, the Mexica tried to find the place they came from, Aztlán, but failed in their attempt, having many memories between legend and myth of that area like Chicomostoc and their migrations. If we look at current approximate maps of the territory influenced by groups like the Mexica or Purepeches, this area was not part of their expansionist vision. It was seen as having little to see, as the Mexica signed that direction to Mictlán, the place of the dead, believing it to be a desert, infertile, and uninhabited place. However, as the Spanish advanced, they found countless mines of gold, silver, and minerals in that vast area. They created Spanish-style towns and cities like Querétaro, Guanajuato, Zacatecas, among many others. For native groups, this was the Great Chichimeca, inhabited only by nomads or little developments. But the historical reality is different. Just as we are impressed by cities and constructions like those of Teotihuacan and Tenochtitlan, there were northern groups that were equally impressive. An example of this can be found in present-day Querétaro, where we find the enormous structures and short distance from the center of the modern city, known as the Pyramid of El Cerrito. It is comparable to any famous structure on the continent, as its volume is close to the size of the famous Pyramid of the Moon in Teotihuacan. Its total volume is larger than the castle of Kukulkan in Chichen Itza. Obviously, the structure did not build itself, and groups arrived more than 1,000 years ago to inhabit this Querétaro area. It is estimated that a settlement began to be occupied at least between 500 and 600 after days. As often happens, much of what is now about it is speculative since the real name of its place is unknown. However, it has been called various names. In the 6th century, the site was called San Francisco Abanica, meaning High Temple in Otomí. Late, it was called Cerrito del Cascajo, Cerro Pelón, Pyramid of the Pueblito, or Pyramid of El Cerrito. But its existence contradicts the savage beliefs about northern groups. Its current location and construction take into account many factors, including the surrounding horizons and mountains. Its creation, besides being ritualistic, also served time-measuring functions throughout the year. It still measures sunrises, sunsets, and other celestial events today, with various parts of the structure aligning with nearby and distant hills and mountains. Its final height is 30 meters, and it had 3 construction phases, with the last one being the one we see now, consisting of 13 levels. This represents the 13 heavens of many worldviews, such as the Azteca. Its location likely considered a nearby hill now called Cerro Gordo, which is right in front of the structure. This alone proved its strategic location, not only of the structure, but also of the surrounding buildings. They responded to the natural existence of this hill and other mountains visible in the horizon. Together with the structure, they provide many solar segments throughout the year. Its shadow was also calibrated with many things, depending on the time of the year, demonstrating the division of the solar year into 360 days and 5 adjustment days. As well as the sacred calendar of 2060 days, the management of the calendar throughout solar movements served many purposes, including the seasons for planting and harvesting. An approximate recreation of the area is this, but after its glory, nature began to cover it. Other buildings were destroyed or dismantled, and the shrine at the top disappeared. With the arrival of the Spanish, Christian images were placed around it, like the Virgin of the Conception, later called of the Pueblito, to combat idolatry. Today, at its top standing a structure that is not pre-Hispanic at all, called El Fortín. It is said that in 1887, the owner of the El Cerrito hacienda built the structure. Even this construction shows alignments with the sun throughout the year, as seen here. This place has been under investigation for a short time compared to Teotihuacan, which has been studied for over 100 years. El Cerrito began to be studied only in 1995, which is evident, as there are not many resources allocated to this in Mexico. Much of the structure is still covered by trees and vegetation. It is believed that its origin was a Toltec settlement, as remains of its construction are similar to others found in Tula, Hidalgo, and Chichen Itza in Yucatan. This Toltec affiliation is further supported by many more discoveries, some of which were recorded around 1777. An engineer named Carlos Duarte made these drawings, which show a chacmul and a small athletic figure. Its foundation coincided with Teotihuacan, began a trading place with groups both to the north and to the south as far as present-day Guatemala. The place had everything: commerce, worldview, calendar management, understanding of the stars, and much more. The structures and the area itself may have had Ixtapapalotl as one of its main figures. This belief is reinforced by the tombstone found in the area, which features the obsidian butterfly. As with other cultures, it had its peak and was later abandoned by Toltec-affiliated groups. But other northern migrations refer to the arrival of groups like the Purépechas, Otomíes, and Chichimecas. Although the structure was already covered by nature, it still retained part of the previous prestige. Its mere existence and influences as a place of worship even contradicts local legend and beliefs. It is worth mentioning that the structure it is in the capital of Querétaro. Spaniards and allies like Tlaxcaltecas, Mexicas, and others came to that place to begin the subjugation of the north. According to the foundation myths, there is a legend that says Querétaro was founded on July 25, 1531. According to the myth, there was a battle between Spaniards and local groups on another hill, now called Sangre Mal. Before the battle, it is said that Santiago the Apostle appeared in the sky riding a horse, along with a cross of light. With this appearance, the local groups immediately recovered to Catholicism, uttering the phrase, "He is God," which is still pronounced by conchero dance groups today. But El Cerrito contradicts this automatic conversion in 1531 and the miraculous appearance of Santiago. In 1765, in the book Histórico y Sagrado Novenario de la Milagrosa Imagen de Nuestra Señora del Pueblito, it was cited that even with Spaniards and frailes in Querétaro, El Cerrito continued to be a non-Catholic place of worship. Frequent were the congregations of Indians there on a man-made hill, which still exists today, to consult their oracles and offer incense to the devil. This citation and other prove that the miracle of Santiago never happened. Long after 1531, and that supposed miracle, many indigenous people in the area continued to go to El Cerrito and practice their original beliefs. Obviously, hundreds of years before the supposed appearance of Santiago in 1531, the now called Pyramid of El Cerrito was already covered by vegetation. But today, little by little, not only the structure but also the surrounding context has emerged. This proves that in the Great Chichimeca, there were equally sophisticated groups that were on par with the Mayans, Mexicas, or any other group present at the arrival of the Spaniards. Therefore, if you visit Querétaro, you will see a structure whose extension demonstrates that the Great Chichimecas has been underestimated and minimized for hundreds of years, but that has a richness equal to that of any other contemporary groups that existed at the arrival of the Spaniards. This is only just beginning to be understood.